job. I make very, very good money. And she says the only thing I need now is a man. It's like, yo, like, it's like, who wants you? Who wants you? You right.
Right.
Like, once you have achieved these things, you have unfortunately disqualified yourself.
Ooh,
and
shit.
And what it is these.
You guys are going to realize something in the next 10 years, that the world has told you that you can have it all. You can't. Life is about choices and trade-offs.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to my channel. This is officially episode 5 of Let's Talk. Whoa. Today, I'm coming to y'all with, of course, my opinions, my thoughts about this whole, can a woman have it all? Can women have it all? First of all, can we even define what having it all means? Like, what exactly does that entail? What does that, I feel like it could have different definitions to different people. You could feel like, you have the career, you could feel like you have the family, the husband, money, all of that stuff, and that's having it all. Or you could be a stay-at-home mom, and you don't ever work, but you do what needs to be done in the home, and your husband takes care of the bills, and you feel like you have it all. Or you could be a single, very independent, you don't have any kids, you are the rich auntie, and you have it all. So I think, first of all, it's important to make that decision based on yourself. People like making these generalizations and trying to include everybody in this one box and making it seem like this is how it's supposed to go. This is the definition. There's one blueprint that everybody's supposed to follow. And that's where people come and have these disagreements and these arguments. And then we get again on these blogs and these channels and these podcasts and making a whole bunch of noise and clucking and barking and not making no sense. First off, what is a woman's role in the household? Again, I think that's different based on who you are. You could literally be the breadwinner, and that's your role in your household as the woman. I personally feel like, the woman is the homemaker. We are, first when it comes to the children and all of that. I definitely think it's important that you know how to take care of a home, and I think it depends on what you learned from your mom. My mom was, she cooked every night. She also sold houses. My dad was in the military. But like, anytime like anything would happen like at school or anything like that, I know I would call my mom, and there all the time. Now, granted, sometimes, my dad would be out of the country or whatever, so circumstances were different. But mom is, she's the head of the household in a different way than the dad is the head of the household. And then they come together as a team. That's just what I think personally. I think, just to sum it up, I think, of course, when I am able to connect with an actual partner and somebody that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with, we'll be able to have that conversation and see if we have the same vision of the future and what we want our household to look like and run like. I personally think that women, all of us, need to start with, who are we? Who are you as a woman? Who are you? What exactly do you want? What are you looking for? Have you really sat and actually answered that question? It's easy to say the main basic things that you think people want to hear, or the things that you've heard on and seen on social media, all of that stuff. But who are you for real? Have you really sat with yourself? Have you done healing? Have you done inner child work? Have you done trauma and trigger work? Do you know what kind of partner you're even really looking for? Do you know if you want to get married? Do you know if you want to have kids? Do you know if you want to be a stay-at-home mom? Do you know if you want to work and be pregnant at the same time? Or do you want to sit at home and be pampered? Are you doing what makes you happy in life? Are you truly happy? Are you happy by yourself first? Are you just going with the motions, or are you doing what your parents wanted you to do? Are you doing what you feel like you're supposed to be doing so you can make money and make ends meet. I feel like the answers to all of those questions will ultimately show you how things are going to go for you. If all of those are negative, or a lot of them are negative, all of that is going to spill into your home life. So if you haven't come to terms with certain things, or if you haven't, done any healing, or you haven't done any work on yourself, then it's going to show. It's going to show up when you are talking to your children, or how you're raising your children, or how you handle your husband, how you handle your household, how you're handling your everyday life. If you're literally working at a job that you hate, you are gonna come home every day irritated. You have been somewhere for the past 8 hours that you didn't like because you feel like you had to be there. Somebody told you had to be there. You're trying to do what you need to do. And then you come home to children who have also been forced to be somewhere for 8 hours. They're reckless and wild and running rampant. And then you also have a husband who's been somewhere for 8 hours, or doing whatever, or come back from somewhere, and nobody's emotions are in check. Who knows what the circumstances may be, but do you and your husband still have a relationship? It's important to still have a relationship outside of your family. And then you have to ask yourself, are you just like making excuses, brushing things under the rug, and you don't have energy to give to your relationship, or you don't have energy to give to your children, or you don't have energy to do what you actually want to be doing? So you're just on autopilot and going with the motions. And then, who are you building a relationship with? Outside of, your kids, your job, all of that stuff, who are you building a relationship with? Who are you building a foundation with? Who are you procreating with? How well do you know this person? Is this the person that you really wanted to spend the rest of your life with, or did you marry them because you got pregnant? Did you marry them because you feel like they were going somewhere in life and, he looks good on paper? Men want to be nurtured and coddled, and they want to find peace and sanity with you. Are you getting that same energy back? Is it being reciprocated? Do you find peace with your partner? Do you feel like you're being treated like the sweet, beautiful little flower that you really are? Men are associating women being assertive and ambitious with masculinity, like this weird level of like toughness and this hard outer shell and just cold. That's out. That's not what that means. That to me is just like, you and your male ego are intimidated by the strength, the masculinity of a woman, and you have a certain level of insecurities. That's my opinion. That's what I see. I can also understand to a certain extent that men say, if women are like the breadwinners or the ones working and all of that, having a career-driven woman, it takes away from her taking care of the household in the way that she's supposed to, and takes her away from her family and takes her away from her kids. Okay. At the same time, doesn't that do that for the man too? A career-driven man, doesn't that take him away from his household and his kids? Your kids need their dad like they need their mom too. The mom and the dad play their roles in the children's lives. Parent and parent play their roles in their children's lives. Two-parent household. That's what it is. It's not a mom is your parent and dad is kind of like the backup sometimes, and he'll put in his little sprinkle. I also feel like a man naturally wouldn't all the way feel like a man if he is not the one being the main provider in the household. It's like that hero mentality, and that's how you guys have been conditioned. You have to be the man, you're the man of the house, you protect and provide, that's what you're supposed to do. I also think as women, it's important that we ask ourselves if we'd be okay with being in that role, because sometimes Things can happen, and then I think some women aren't honest with themselves and they'd be like, oh yeah, it's whatever right now. I'm doing what I need to do and taking over this position. But they're really building up resentment and kind of looking at their man in a different light because they feel like he's not doing his manly duties. I'm not saying that that's the case for everybody. I'm just saying maybe somebody who you probably don't have like a true strong bond with. Also, women typically don't want to date down. I mean, I can't even really say that. I feel like it depends on you as a woman. You might not care about stuff like that. You might want to be the leader of the household, and you might want your man to be a stay-at-home husband, stay-at-home dad. Also, let's not get dating down confused with holding your man down while he's on his come up, especially if you know your man's history and he's always been like, very ambitious and a go-getter, and he comes into a rough spot and you need to kind of switch roles and take over while he builds himself back up. That's not dating down. I mean, not in my opinion. That's not dating down. I wholeheartedly believe in supporting your partner. You guys are in a partnership. Relationship is partnership. You do what you have to do for each other. You are building a foundation together. You guys are bouncing ideas off of each other. You guys are putting the building blocks on together. It's not one more than the other. You both give 100 and 100%. I'm also kind of confused as to why men think that women who make money, like they'll be like, oh, you pay all your bills, so a man can't tell you shit. Why do we associate money with authority? Because I make my own money and I pay my own bills, I wouldn't want my man to be able to lead. I wouldn't want my man to be dominant. I'm confused. You can literally see a woman that makes a whole lot of money and automatically write her off because you're like, okay, well, she makes her own money, pays her own bills, I can't control her. And she could literally be your perfect match. And then see a woman who doesn't make a lot of money, who doesn't, isn't able to pay her own bills, who is more dependent on you and be like, oh yeah, that's the one for me. And she'd be the worst partner for you ever. Like, I don't get the correlation. I keep hearing it, but it's just not clicking. It doesn't make any sense to me. I really think that a lot of women have seen their moms or their grandmas or whatever women who raised them, especially more traditional women, raised them, have, given their lives to their children, given their lives to their marriage, their family. That's been their main focus. And they've grown old and they come to see that they are unhappy with their lives. They didn't get to do what they wanted to do because there was some priority that was more important than them. They weren't they weren't living for themselves or loving themselves first. And while we see, those traditional values and they can be passed on to generation, they do get modified because women are my generation. I see a lot of them doing their best not to be their mothers or their grandmothers, especially when it comes to those types of situations. People don't want to be in relationships for a long time with men that they're unhappy with just because they shouldn't get a divorce or they have children with them and they're supposed to stay down and be a down wife. And men keep talking about the rates of women filing for divorce because women aren't taking all that BS like they used to back in the day. You guys keep talking about these traditional women. You want those women who are going to shut up and not say anything. That's the traditional women y'all are talking about. Women want to live comfortably. I know I want to live comfortably. A lot of women want to be taken care of. They want the material things, getting their coochie waxed, their hair done. And on the other hand, are my children going to be taken care of? Is there wealth to pass on to my children and their children and so on and so forth? Are we really understanding what generational wealth is outside of just finance? And what do you suppose we do while we wait for these high value traditional men to give us that life? A woman can have it all. What she requires is more than the bare minimum that you guys like to bring to the table, and you simply just might not be equipped. So then with that realization, you try to make women feel inferior and like they don't deserve what they're asking for, or what they're asking for is unattainable. So you can bring her down to your level and you can feel a lot better about yourself. And instead of seeing her as your partner and matching your fly and seeing that she has all of her ducks in a row and all of her shit together, which will actually tell you a lot more than she will just sit there and tell you on the first date when you ask her what she brings to the table, because obviously she cares about a lot more things than just trying to get a rich nigga or trying to finesse. Yeah. I'll just leave y'all with your thoughts. Anyways, for the most part, that's all I have to say for now about the situation. It's not a situation, about the topic. Like I said, people need to stop making generalizations. You decide what is good for you as an individual and then go from there. Make sure you are doing the work to get to where you want to go and being the person. Like, what you give out is what you give back. So make sure you're being the person that you would want somebody to be for you. It's really quite, I mean, I feel like we've been saying things like that since elementary school. But whatever, y'all know what to do. Like, subscribe, share, tell me what y'all think, give me your opinions, of course. Thanks for tuning in, love y'all. You pay all your bills, so a man can't tell you shit. Why do we associate money with authority?